So it was led by the Ministry of Information, Communications and Technology, working very closely with both ministries of education.
The first for Namibia returned this year for its 5th edition, and the coding camp is commissioned by ECA, the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, in partnership with the Ministry of Information, Communication Technology, UN Namibia, UN Women, the International Telecommunications Union, as well as Telecom Namibia. And the recently concluded training camp brought together African women and girls between the age of 12 to 25 years of age, and of course giving us more information on this. And joining us on today's Game Changers is, of course, Errolice Tjipura. She is the Development Coordination and Partnership Officer at the UN Namibia, and she's going to give us all the information about the Connected Africa Girls Coding Camp and how it went down and why it was held in Namibia. Good afternoon, Errolice, and welcome to 99 FM.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure to have you. All right, let's get straight into it. Give us just a short background, on what the Connected African Girls Coding Camp is about, and also how it was, held differently in Namibia.
Thank you so much. So in 2020, UNECA came up with an initiative called the Connected African Girls Coding Camp, together with, as you mentioned earlier, with UN Women and ITU. This was because, according to data, the digital divide between our young boys and men and our young girls and women, in terms of access to the internet and several ICT skills and tools, there's a huge disparity. Currently, there's about 9% difference. So our girls and young women are getting left behind. So that's how this initiative came about. And this is across all African countries, to basically just improve our girls and young women's participation in STEAM. It used to be STEM, but now it's STEAM.
Is it STEAM? So what does the A stand for?
The A stands for arts.
Okay,
so science,
like
technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
Nice.
To help encourage their participation in STEAM, and also just so that they become ICT savvy.
Yes, because we also want to be ICT people. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's the new literacy, they say.
It is. Tell us how how did it work in Namibia, Errolice? Who did the UN agencies work with in Namibia to make this coding camp possible?
So the key, we wanted it to involve the government as much as possible for sustainability. So it was led by the Ministry of Information, Communications and Technology, working very closely with both ministries of education. As well as we also approached several private sector partners. Telecom Namibia came on board. They provided high-speed internet connectivity.
Nice.
And NAST also came on board. So they provided access to their Fab Lab facilities. Yes, that's how we did it.
Tell me about the participants, the girls that took part in this coding camp. How did they respond to being there and being a part of this initiative?
Oh my God, it was really amazing. It was amazing.
I can imagine, yeah.
So the applications were done through MICT and both ministries of education, and we received about more than 500 applications.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a whole lot,
yeah.
Which says a lot about the demand for this kind of coding camps
yeah.
and the interest. And only 100 girls could be accommodated, unfortunately. And these girls were from all over the country. We wanted it to be as inclusive as possible. Most of the regions, apart from 2 regions, were represented. And for the first time in the history of the coding camp, Namibia was the first country to also include girls with a disability.
Oh wow, it's beautiful.
No, that was amazing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I when it comes to computers and coding and things like that, I go blind. Like I don't think, but I love the new not STEM but STEAM, that arts is also being included in there now.
Important part.
Yeah, I love that. Tell us about the focus areas. What was some of the key focus areas that was done focus on during the coding camp?
So about 4 main areas. IoT and robotics, nice. 3D printing, animation, gaming, and web development.
Nice. Are you yourself also interested in coding, Errolice? Are you also someone that's a computer girl that's also there coding things? Are you also interested in that?
Unfortunately not, but I need to, just by being involved in this process, I learned a thing or two, but I need to do more.
Yeah.
we, the older generation, we are getting left behind.
It's true.
Well, and we need to do something about it.
If you're just tuning in right now, we're joined in studio by Development Coordination and Partnership Officer at the UN Namibia. That's, of course, Ms. Errolice Tjipura. We are learning everything we need to know about the just ended Connected African Girls Coding Camp. So stay tuned for more details on it. We're checking out Neo's When You're Mad on 99 FM. 99 FM, it's Neo coming through with When You're Mad on your inspiration station. We are talking about the Connected African Girls Coding Camp, a first for Namibia. It was in its fifth edition. And we're getting all of the details, of course, from the Development Coordination and Partnership Officer at the UN Namibia, Ms. Errolice Tjipura, who's giving us all the details about this amazing opportunity for young girls. Errolice, tell us just about, there's also, there was a highlight for this camp, the Innovation Fair. Tell us a bit more about the fair. What is actually an innovation fair? Let's start there.
Thank you. Sorry, in my previous answer, I didn't mention that part of the training, they were also training on gender-based violence, specifically technology-facilitated gender-based violence. And also, we also taught the girls more on the Sustainable Development Goals.
Okay.
So to get to the Innovation Fair, the camp was held over 7 days. Okay. 4 of those days was about training them on the different stuff that I mentioned earlier. And the 3 days were dedicated to them to develop solutions or applications that are relevant to the issues that the country is facing, and that will also help to accelerate the achievements of the Sustainable Development Goals. And when I say we were blown away by the applications that these girls came up with.
Can you mention a couple of those applications?
So they were divided amongst in 5 areas: IoT and robotics, gaming, animation, web development, and 3D printing. And in each area, we unfortunately had to choose one winner, but there were different groups in each area. So some of them that won, in my opinion, most of them were really, really good. Amazing, I was one of the judges, and it was so difficult
to just choose one.
To choose one in each area. So in the IoT and robotics group, they came up with something called a smart crutch. So there was a girl with a disability in that group, and this group came up with a smart crutch, which is an application that gets to be put in the walking stick of people.
Yeah, a crutch, a normal crutch,
or a normal crutch or a walking stick of people that have persons with visual impairment. So what this does is it helps them to navigate their environment.
Nice.
Like if there's something in the way, it will be like,
I like that.
Turn left, turn right.
Wow.
Really guiding them. It was absolutely impressive. And there was one where they also came up with Drive Here, which is an application for female taxis to transport females, young women and girls, just to help them arrive at their destination.
It's called Drive Her.
Drive Her. The application is called Drive Her. There was one on Smart Barrel. So for 3D printing, this one was a smart barrel to help women in the rural areas to transport water easier. You know, sometimes we carry it on our heads.
And it's heavy. It's heavy.
To help them navigate that. Another one was also, so some of the advantages of really including girls with a disability was everybody started to envision some of the obstacles that they're also facing. So another one was accessibility for disability. That's the application's name, which is basically an animated video with information teaching us about the correct language to use when you're addressing people with a disability, how they feel, how they want to be included.
Yes.
Just basically a guidance from people with a disability, to everybody else that does not have a disability.
Errolice, please do tell us, is there any plans, for some of these amazing, innovative, creative applications that the girls develop for them to go to market? Is there any plans of that for them to, mass produce some of these applications?
We really, really, really want that. After what we saw, about 22 applications were developed, and all of them were amazing. Like really, they addressed most of our societal challenges. There were some on mental health, some on HIV stigma, some on agriculture, smart agriculture, some on poaching, rhino poaching.
Wow, a lot was covered, hey?
A lot was covered.
Yeah.
There was one that was equally interesting, and the judges decided to allocate 2 winners in one category.
Because it was hard to decide just on one.
It was hard to decide on one. So the other one that was also awarded, that I forgot to mention, was called, I think it's Fire Detector. So it's an application for the informal settlements. You know, our informal settlements are forever burning.
Yes.
So this application detects smoke above a certain threshold, and then it makes noise for the neighbors to know that there's a problem here, and it also sends a message to the nearest fire brigade.
Wow. No, these girls were busy, huh?
These girls were amazing.
Wow.
They were just, it was absolutely impressive.
Listen, Errolice, we need to know, for anybody who's tuning in right now who has a young girl between the ages of 12 to 25, or who is, of course, between those ages, who would like to be a part. It is the first time it was held in Namibia. But is there a chance, an opportunity, for more girls to take part in this? Will there be another Connected African Girls Coding Camp in the near future?
Currently, we are not sure, but from the interest that we have received, both the UN and the government through MICT, we are really working on seeing what is possible, together with also your question earlier about what are we going to do to help these prototypes.
To the market, yeah.
To market. So we are also in discussion, 2 discussions. One is to help the current applications. We can't let them die at prototype stage.
Because they're too amazing, too brilliant.
They are too good. They are too good. So we're discussing the how and also which partners we can engage with to help us make sure that this all 22 solutions were amazing, to help us get most of them, if not all of them, to market. And then the second discussion would be, how do we do a second coding camp? Who are the stakeholders? But there's commitment from most of the UN agencies as well as the government, importantly from the government.
Yes.
And we've had amazing interest also from the private sector.
So where can we keep an eye out just in case something happens? Where can we follow you? Where can we like a page? Or is there anything like that just to keep ourselves up to date with what's happening with the Connected African Girls Coding Camp?
Basically, more so on the UN website and the UN social media handles, as well as the Ministry, the Information, Communications and Technologies website. And it will probably be also worth it to follow the UNECA website, because they talk about the other coding camps across Africa. Currently, they are busy with another one in Tanzania, which will be the 6th one on the African continent. But UNECA, as the lead in this initiative, they are very much interested in ensuring that it
happens again.
It happens again.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it should happen again.
And the solutions that we develop really get to market.
It needs to get to market, because they really, and the thing is, these things can really help the community, hey?
It does. It's really stuff that it was so impressive.
Yeah.
The fact that they could come up with that in 3 days.
Imagine.
3 days. 3 days, and some of them were so young. Primary school.
Wow.
Primary school. So it was absolute. We have talent in this country.
We do. We really do. And of course, the future is female, guys. The future is female. Just remember that. The future is female. Errolice, thank you so much for coming to share with us this amazing initiative, and really looking forward to the next one. I'm probably too old to actually take part. I'm not between the ages of 12 and 25, but I would like to take part though. Is there any chance that, the ladies in the 30s and upwards can also be a part of something like? I think it's really nice. But this is for African girls. We're not girls anymore. We're women now, right?
African girls and young women.
Yeah.
So, but that's a good point. Most of us are also getting left behind.
Let's do it.
We need to, even if it's just virtual, even if it's virtual participation or something, to teach us the basics. We can't be left behind like that.
It's true. There can be something else, in the pipeline for the far near future.
Absolutely.
Errolice, thank you so much once again for joining us here in 99 FM and coming to share with us about the Connected African Girls Coding Camp. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. That's, of course, Errolice Tjipura. We're learning everything we need to know about the Connected African Girls Coding Camp, the first time it was held here in Namibia, and really looking forward to the next one. And, of course, looking forward to seeing those 22 solutions go to market as well, because they really are just wow. Just wow. Here is WizKid coming through with LMA, Piece of Me, on 99 FM.